All right, welcome everyone. Only a few more meetings left. Hope you're excited for this evening. It should be relatively short. Beginning with roll call, secretary. Secretary is not ready.
Sorry. Michael Allen.
Here.
Meg Anderson. Gretchen Braun. Here. Justin Mish.
Here.
Christina Boggs. Here. Ruth Minagaraja. Here. Chris Coswell.
Here.
Gina Chang. Mark Cannon.
Here.
Ralph Cabello.
Here.
Justin Dove.
Here.
Robin Engel. Here. Adam Perone. Pat Gordon. Nicholas Heim. Hubert Hines. Andrew Karasik.
Here.
Gabby. Tom King.
Here.
Daniel Large. Sam Lohner.
Here.
Benjamin Lombard. Stephen Lucas.
Here.
Nick Nance.
Here.
Haley McKernan. Kayla McPherson.
Here.
Sean Malloy.
Here.
Samantha Miller.
Here.
Christopher Morrell. Uzeka Munn. Christopher Knox.
President.
Ellie Ockelberg. Joanne Olson.
Here.
Bree Patay. Greg Plum. Brian Colin. Kelly Potter. Megan Quinn. Christian Ragland. Valerie Russell.
Present.
Amy Sanders. Philip Slusser. Richard Shermansky. Catherine Smeals. Colleen Smith. Here. Matthew Smith.
President.
Michael Smith.
Here.
Ricardo Torres. Ian Hickory.
Here.
Michael Wallace. Cindy Wong. Max Wynn.
Here.
Justin Weiner.
Here.
Kara Zinger. Here. Nicole Zenny.
Okay, did we get everyone? All right, moving on to the adoption of the agenda. Before we have the agenda, we also, it says no new business, actually says none. But we want to add in there resolution 29 to be brought to the floor by 2/3. So just make that quick change. Representative Karasik?
I also move to amend new business. ID committee interviewed Yvette Norma for LGBTI Affairs Director, and we need to hear her tonight.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Any objections to adding that to new business? Did everyone hear what he said? Okay, did anyone not hear what he said? All right, so we'll add in that confirmation hearing. Any other changes needed for the agenda? No? Okay. Any objections to the agenda as it is now? None? Okay, agenda is adopted. Adoption of the past general meeting minutes. Should receive these via email as usual from Annie. The date is wrong on that, but that doesn't really matter. Any objections to adopting the past general meeting minutes? Representative White?
Are we going to change the date? Or doesn't matter?
Okay, would you like me to just change it real quick? Should be the 27th. No?
I don't know.
25th?
Whatever date was
The
that.
last meeting, not the 11th.
We can change that.
I don't know. Okay, any other objections to the past general meeting minutes? Changes, anything? Okay, adopted. Moving on to open student forum. No, we do not have a special presentation this evening. So open student forum, are there any students here to address the assembly? Okay, moving on, report by the president, Mr. Cairns.
What's up, guys? Today was actually the first facilities fee board meeting. It was something we had talked about a lot last year within the assembly last semester. We debated a whole lot as far as whether it should happen, whether it shouldn't happen. Once it did happen, we did a lot of discussion about how the board should be set up. We agreed on that the EPUA president would chair the board along with the GSA president, along with 5 other undergraduates and 1 undergraduate student. Today's first meeting was more of kind of a surveying of ideas. There was a lot of different fields presented, projects for expansion within recreation areas, and also the Hubway building connector, which was talked about somewhat last year. Was kind of the original basis for the facilities fee. Nothing was decided today. It was more discussion of wants and needs based upon what we know as an organization. And it was just kind of a fun discussion. I'm sure Nick Vance will talk about that more within this report, but I thought it was rather productive to see the designs that they had thought of. But there's also a great opportunity for us to decide if there's things that we want to do, especially more short-term projects. So while it was a good first day, there's definitely things that we can improve in as far as these type of meetings, and hopefully there'll be more structure and concrete moving forward. Today was really just the breaking the bread, the original meeting, so we'll see what happens moving forward. Tomorrow, myself, Colin Smith, Miller, I think a couple other people from UPUA, along with the IFC president, Luke Pierce, and a couple others will be meeting with Kerry Mendenhoff to talk about what's going on with the Tuition Relief Act right now at 9 a.m., so that should be fun. I do want to congratulate the job of the Governmental Affairs Committee for the Tuition Awareness Day. Sam and the whole committee did an excellent job. I know they put a lot of planning into it, so I think it's worth giving them thanks for the commitment they showed. I also want to thank everyone else who did come out today to support their fellow committee. I thought that was great, and I'm sure Sam will have more to say about our report, but that is it for now.
Question. Representative Szymanski.
9 a.m. tomorrow. The office, EPUA office.
Further questions?
Thanks.
All right, moving on to special presentations. We do not have one or any. Moving on, old business, none, new business. Resolution 29. You should have a copy. Did anyone not get a copy? All right, so we'll have an introduction by Representative Knock, and stand for questions, and then we'll have to bring it to the floor by 2/3.
Hey, good evening, everybody. So, Representative 29, in response to Governor Ed Rendell's exclusion of Penn State and tuition relief, members of the UPUA, the IFC, and the NAACP banded together to form the Pennsylvania Tuition Coalition. As part of the Tuition Coalition strategic plan to lower tuition, we decided to create a website. Now, as the coalition is being led by UPUA, and basically Resolution 29 is requesting funds from the executive to fund the website. And now it's time for questions.
Questions? Representative Lucas.
Who will be designing the website?
The website is actually already designed. The design of the website is a joint effort between Karen Kennedy, Justin Ross, and myself.
Representative Karasik? Yeah. All right.
What will the function of the website be? I mean, I don't see it in here. What purpose will it serve? What features will it have? Things like that.
You know, that's a great question. The website's gonna have a lot of features, including detailed information as to prior news articles that have involved the Pennsylvania Tuition Coalition. In addition, we plan to have a blog, and there's a link to a petition where people will go on the website and sign, and that'll be a show of support for people all around Pennsylvania that we are against raising tuition.
Mr. Gravello has something.
Just for future reference, we can continue, but we're debating whether to bring this to the floor as an emergency piece of legislation, and obviously I think this is, but questions should be on the merits of whether it needs to be debated now as opposed to going through committee. So we'll have another round of questioning after we decide whether we're actually going to debate this on the merits of the legislation. So just try and keep that in mind. I just wanted to clarify that, especially for the new representatives.
Because it did not go through committee, that's why we need the 2/3. Representative Wallace,
I think that this cannot wait, and this needs to be debated now.
do you have a question? This is a question for Representative Knock.
Now?
Is that now the question mark? All right, any other questions? All right, thank you. Are there any objections to bringing this to the floor? You have an objection? Okay. All right, well then, we'll just move to a vote. All those in favor of bringing this to the floor, please raise your hand at this time. Opposed? Clearly that's good. 1. Abstentions? 0. Okay, resolution 29, discussion, Representative Carson.
I'm gonna have two questions. First off, will there be any involvement, I guess Chris or Gavin or Sam, I'll leave whoever answers it. Will there be any involvement from the other universities, Temple, Lincoln, Pitt, in this website, or is this just a Penn State thing?
That's also an excellent question.
Thank you. Yes,
As it stands right now, the website is to be used as a tool to unite all the universities as a gathering point, where everybody can come together and just exchange information rather than doing it through emails and stuff like that.
Follow-up, Representative Harrison?
It's not a follow-up, so.
Go ahead.
Okay. And Representative Malloy, I'm just curious as to why you oppose bringing this to the floor. You don't have to answer that, but if you would be willing to, I'd appreciate it.
Representative Malloy?
Yeah, I'm basically confused. I think we as an organization need to refocus on exactly what we're doing in regards to voicing our opposition to Governor Rendell's proposal. I feel there's a lot of ideas that are being thrown around. We're kind of just jumping into a bunch of different things. And maybe it's because I wasn't here last week and couldn't make the events today, but there's a lot of different things happening. And I feel that maybe we should ensure our organization looks good in the long run by not throwing a bunch of different balls in the air and then just seeing where they fall when the next assembly convenes. I feel that this should go through committee and probably be looked at with all the other initiatives that have been happening or happened today, assess where we got from what we got and where we got from those things, and then a more overarching document and kind of almost a plan of action of how this student government is going to advance the idea that Penn State students and state-related schools should not be excluded from the video poker money. I just feel that if we just go and make a website, we just keep going on these random things, I think we really need to refocus. And it's not against the website overall, I think it's great, but I think it should be done in collaboration with our organization as a whole, refocusing so we can be most effective for the students. Right now, I don't know if we're doing that. So if we can show, if you guys can please tell me how we're being super effective, or if we are being the most effective, I'll be happy to vote for this. But as right now, I think we should send it to committee and it should be introduced along with a more streamlined idea of how we're going to act. Thank you.
Representative Lohner.
Throughout the whole process, we've kind of been hearing about, well, not throughout the whole process, but especially with this, we've been hearing about UQA's involvement in conjunction with IFC and the NAACP. Those are the other speakers of the rally that we had a few weeks ago. Basically, my question is, what is the contribution of such organizations? And it seems like we're putting the bill quite frequently.
Representative Knock?
That's a great question. I think that, we can't understate, their involvement in this process. It was actually Karen Kennedy, who's the president of ACB, who found the website and went through all the work to design the template for the website and also wrote up many of the documents that are on the petition. Basically, UP Way is leading this, but this isn't of UP Way. This is UP Way uniting some of the most powerful student organizations on campus, combining 4 causes. And every group that's in this, group is playing an equal part.
Further discussion? Mr. Carvello?
This is, presenting the member, this is just for clarification. I talked with the Representative Knock and I just got clarified by President Cleary. I move to amend line, on line 31, where it says, basically, President's Fund. There is no such thing in UPUA. In the budget, though, it's referring to the President's dinner allocation. We allocate $1,100 for dinner for the President. So this money is supposed to come out of that money allocated to the dinner, since apparently there's leftover money within that pool. So I move to amend that to say the presidential dinner allocation in the spring 2009 budget.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any objections? Okay, amendment passes. Further discussion? Representative Miller?
I'm just curious why this wasn't brought up in steering this Sunday when we had a discussion centered around the budget and where we could pull extra funds for Representative Wallace's event. And this is point of clarification. This has nothing to do with the Governmental Affairs Committee and what we've been doing. We haven't really been approached about it or anything like that. So just to clarify, this is not coming for a committee right? But I'm just curious. I do know though that this is not a new initiative. This has been planned out probably since the Temple Rally. Why we also were discussing the possibility of where funds can come from for this and the types of funds we're going to be looking for this.
Further discussion? You have a question? Representative Knock?
The development of the initiative and the website, which is part of the initiative, has been very organic. And I say that to mean that things have been growing constantly. The reason why this bill is coming to the Assembly as an emergency bill is because we can't afford to wait on something like this. The website was actually created by, we've been working on it for, probably about a week. And it was completed probably by around yesterday morning. And since we've completed it, we've been refining it, every hour since then. And now that we have the final product in conjunction with your Tuition Awareness Day, which was today, we decided to advertise the website and spread out flyers all over the hub, which most of you have probably seen. The reason why this bill is coming today as an emergency bill is because of the organic development of this, and that we can't wait to push this back any further.
Representative Miller?
I understand the idea of organic development and things coming up. You said yourself, you've known about the website for a week, and I'm curious then how did you purchase a domain name to have a running website? It's not running, I was on it myself today. Where did that money come from initially? How did it name?
Representative Knock?
The money to purchase the website was fronted by IFC member Justin Ross, who's acting as de facto leader of this coalition.
Further discussion. Representative Kerrison, do you have something? Mr. Gabello?
I agree with the sentiment that this needed to be brought tonight, just because of the nature of this, with one assembly meeting left. Whether or not it should have went through committee, that's debatable. I was a little confused by, of course, just made the amendment of where the money is coming from, but now that's clarified, and it doesn't seem like the executive board has any problem allocating a portion of its budget. I see no harm in continuing this, especially since two representatives are obviously in support of this and are willing to work hard on forming this. I don't agree that this is some sort of disordered approach to this. I think there are different ways that we're approaching this issue from the exec board level, from committee appointed, from individual assembly members. I will, however, say that this came up last week. I just want to clarify that individual representatives are allowed to bring things not coming from committee. Generally, we like to see things go through committee, but things that aren't terribly contentious or that need to be done in a timely fashion, that's why we're allowed to bring things to the floor by 2/3, considering them an emergency, and in other words, are time-sensitive measures. I don't know what more can be accomplished by just requesting money for the domain purchase. I mean, this doesn't authorize them to use the UQA name on the website or in conjunction with other initiatives. This is solely to have the name for future use by UQA. From that perspective, I think it is timely to get this done with and see whether we want to purchase this website for use in the future, and also to whether we're going to support this aspect of Representative Knock and Representative Smith. So I would urge support of this moving forward, because I think it's rather innocuous, and I didn't think it would be terribly contentious coming before them.
Mr. Malloy?
Yeah. So I want to make sure that this is up and running, okay? And from what I understand, it's up and running and it's already purchased. So after I'm done speaking, I'm going to offer an amendment to change the word purchase.
What line?
Line 31. As opposed, because it's already purchased, it's been purchased. So we will be not be purchasing, it will be reimbursing. And yes, Justin Braz, I know him. And I feel that if it's already been purchased, and I'm sure Justin wants this to succeed, he does want this to succeed, but if it has been purchased and he has fronted that money, that we do have the option to go back in the future and reimburse them. I did oppose this initially coming to the floor as an emergency measure, and if I had known that fact, I would have opposed more, we would have opposed it coming to the floor as an emergency measure. So I do think that, once again, we need to redouble our efforts in focusing our message on this tuition issue. The governmental affairs chair apparently did not know about this. I don't know what the exec board knows about this. I don't know if we can maybe get more organizations involved. Like I said, I really do think we need to assess what we're all doing, what all of our committees, what the exec board is doing, along with other groups on campus, and come back to the next meeting and have a more focused document. So, with that, I'd like to amend line 31, instead of saying to purchase the domain name, to reimburse Justin Braz, I suppose, is what we should put in the document for the domain name.
What do I say reimburse purchase of?
For the purchase of.
Reimburse for the purchase of, okay? But even with that, I still stand opposed to this document. The domain is up and running. We can come back and reimburse in the future. But right now, I don't think we should be throwing any more balls to this tuition thing. I think we need to really, really think a little more.
Any objections to the amendment? Everyone clear on the amendment? No objections? Okay, the amendment passes. Further discussion? No? Representative Lucas, did you have something? You're next. No? Representative Miller? No? Representative Szymanski? Any objections to ending debate? All right. There are no objections. Moving into a vote on Resolution 29. Secretary, roll call.
Michael Aldinger,
Yep.
Justin Bitt,
Yes.
Christina Halls. Yes. Gina Chang, Mark Cannon,
Yes.
Rob Crivello,
Yes.
Justin Dove,
Yes.
Robin Engel. Yes. Nicholas Heim, Hubert Hines, Andrew Kersick,
Yes.
John King,
Abstain.
Daniel Lurch, Sam Lohner, Benjamin Lombard,
Yes.
Stephen Lucas,
No.
Nick Nance,
No.
Haley McCormick, Sean Malloy,
No.
Samantha Miller, Christopher Morrell, Christopher Knopf,
Yes.
Ellie Ogelberg, Bree Patag, Greg Plum,
Yes.
Kelly Potter,
Yes.
Megan Quinn, Christian Ragland, Amy Sanders, Philip Slusser, Richard Shermansky, Colleen Smith,
Yes.
Matthew Smith,
Stay.
Michael Smith,
Yes.
Michael Wallace,
Yes.
Kara Zinger,
Abstain.
Okay, resolution 29 passes. Nine,
Was there someone?
yeah, Max.
Oh,
Um,
Max.
oh, I'm sorry,
Speak up, speak up.
Max and who else? Max,
Gretchen Braun.
yeah, I should. Okay, Max,
Yes.
and Gretchen Braun,
Yes.
thank you.
Okay, resolution 29 passes 21-4-4. All right, moving on to the confirmation. Representative Kreisig, do you want to
Well, I'll speak.
I don't know their names.
We're confirming, just Yvette Lerma, for, LGBTA Affairs Director, appointed by, President Fearon's, Internal Development Committee reviewed, and all we can do is vote on that once we move into discussion.
Yep, I got it. Okay, so you can approach the mic, you have 5 minutes, introduce yourself, and then we may ask you some questions, and then you'll exit, we'll discuss and vote. Go ahead, thanks.
Well, as you all know, my name is Yvette Lerma. This is my 3rd year at Penn State UP. I'm majoring in sociology. My minors are Latino studies and women's studies. I originally came to Penn State. I'm from Arizona. I came to Penn State because of the engineering program here. And I'm currently president of Rainbow Roundtable, the coalition of the LGBT-related organizations on campus. We currently have 8 organizations apart from Rainbow Roundtable. One of them is a grad student coalition, and most of them are different special interest organizations within that population. I believe as president of Rainbow Roundtable, I have the best interest of the LGBT community here and have great knowledge about the community as president of Rainbow Roundtable and as part of the community. And I'm also an intern at the LGBTA Student Research Center. I'm the Straight Talks Pro intern, which means I help manage the peer education program on campus. Do you guys have any questions?
All right, any questions for her? Representative Mance.
Can you please go into more details in exactly what the Straight Talks program is?
Okay, the Straight Talks program, like I said, is a peer education program. It's usually a panel of 3 or 4 students that goes into different classrooms as requested by the professor. We also do residence life trainings, Greek life events. It varies depending on who requests the program, but usually go in, we do an icebreaker, we share personal stories, and then we kind of have a Q&A portion of the program. And it's mostly to, I guess, educate the student population around issues of sexual identity, gender identity development.
Other questions, Representative Lloyd?
Would you consider giving a straight talk to the UQA?
Yes, I would. As Straight Talks for intern, I do usually 2 to 3 Straight Talks a month. This semester has been a little more slow for me just because of scheduling conflicts, but I wouldn't have an issue with that at all.
Representative Warner?
You mentioned this in your introduction, sorry. I think you said it was your 3rd year at University Park. Are you returning next year? And if you are, would you consider either this position again, or would you consider helping that person, whoever's?
You remain in the position.
Is that what you would you look forward to serving?
I actually do. That's one of the things I considered when I first showed interest in the position. Since I realized it's late in the year, I really had to take time to consider time management issues and the fact that this is pretty large commitment, and I would not have a problem with coming again next year. It is my third year here, but I'm planning on 5 years here because I changed my major at the end of my second year here.
Representative Karasik?
Mr. Chairman, can you please just touch on some of the initiatives that you mentioned to us in internal development, specifically some regarding opening our organization, making more friendly to factors?
One of the things that I discussed during the ID interview is the fact that I would like to have more awareness about the fact that UPA does have this position for a reason. A position would not be in place unless there was some caring for this community and some regard to what we go through. And I would like to start with an event or some sort of awareness program throughout the year that would make this, I guess, approachable to students. And one of the things that I discussed as to a question by Sean is the fact that I believe that one of the main issues in this community is the fact that there isn't awareness for those who aren't part of the open population. So as if anyone that was closeted was to want to know anything about the resources, they wouldn't have that available to them because they would be either hiding or invisible to these resources.
Other questions? Representative Nance?
I kind of have to approach asking this with caution. I just want to say I'm not in any way, shape, or form blaming this on you, but I was approached by a couple students who are students who were kind of concerned about the Straight Talks program because they felt that some of the students who came in and gave these presentations were kind of a bit, to quote loudly, kind of overzealously stated and stated their political beliefs in a semi-forceful way, specifically on the Proposition 8 legislation that was in California, the gay marriage ban, as well as, to quote loudly, kind of said some slanderous things about the Bible. What do you have to say to us, to say to some of the students who came up with you who might be kind of concerned about that type of thing going on in the program?
That is something that we usually try to address in the training. All of our panelists go through BBH 251, which is the course that trains them to do these courses. And we wish that during that process we learn to not respond to some of the triggers that they might have and to actually make the students aware in the classrooms that these are their personal opinions, and although they are their personal opinions, that they should have some regard for other people's personal beliefs. And I think that's one of the things that, as a Straight Talk Pro, I get to train returning panelists the following years as to how they should be conducting themselves during the panels.
All right, that's all the time we have. So thank you. So please exit the room. And Ruth, could you help, please? Ruth will let you know when you can come back in. Okay, Yvette, could you come to the front? We're going to swear you in, take the oath of office, and then you can go take your seat where you belong.
Repeat after me, please. I promise to faithfully uphold the Constitution
I promise faithfully to uphold the Constitution
of the University Park undergraduate
University Park undergraduate
association and to defend the rights of each individual student. Yes. Association and to defend the rights
Association and to defend the rights
of each individual student while working
of each individual student while working
toward the betterment of student life.
to the betterment of student life.
I shall perform
I shall perform
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability
the responsibilities and duties
the responsibilities and duties
that have been entrusted to me by
that have been entrusted to me by
the University Park undergraduate student body,
University Park student body.
undergraduate student body, through virtue of the office which I hold. Through virtue of the office which I hold.
Through virtue of the office that I hold.
Congratulations.
Here, you can sit over there with Zach. Education Association, Joanne Olson? Nada?
Not even a smart comment.
Okay, maybe comments for the good of the order. Arsh, Kayla.
We had an extremely long meeting on Monday night. It's actually the longest meeting of recent memory. I think the longest has ever been 7 hours, and we went close to 6.5. So we're rivaling you guys for meeting times. Anyway, it was our internal election for president, executive vice president, and administrative vice president. Our new administrative vice president is Steve Roberts. He's currently the president of East Halls. Our new executive vice president is sitting right back there, Dave Schweitzer. And I will be coming back as president, so.
Congratulations.
And I also wanted to give a shout out to Robin, just so you guys know. She stayed essentially our entire meeting. So props to her for sitting through that, because I know that was rough.
Any questions regarding Arsh? Nope. Congratulations. Okay, moving on. Report by the association directors and staff. Chief of staff took off, looks like. So for any of the other directors that are here, do you have any questions for them? Or do any of the directors have something they want to talk about briefly? No. Okay, moving on. Committee reports, steering, Mr. Gravello.
The report was sent to you guys Monday night for you. The only thing I need to add that one wanted to talk about that many of you probably don't remember we have to do, or chose not to remember we have to do, is end of the year reports. All representatives according to 5.2.2 clause, or 3, clause 5 of the Constitution. All representatives are required to file a formal end-of-the-year report to be included in the official record of the association. So I would request any representative that was here in the fall semester, who was elected, or that was appointed in the fall semester and submitted a brief, I guess, objectives or goals, if you guys remember doing that, to file a report the last meeting we had, which is after spring break, not that week, but at the end of the month. We have one more meeting after this one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put your goals and objectives, and right underneath will be what you actually accomplished or think you accomplished. That way people can read and see things maybe that weren't quite accomplished for various reasons and do them next year. Or it can serve as at least a record of what was done. I do think it's important, there's a reason why it's in the Constitution. So if you all remember to do that. In addition, at steering, we discussed, again, the need for transition binders by the chairs of the Assembly. And I encourage you to work with your chairs to include things you find important or to collaborate on goals that you would like to see the committee. Maybe you didn't have time this year, but goals you think the committee should pursue in the next assembly. So please work with your chairs on that. Other than that, that's all I have for you, and questions.
Any questions? Steering committee? Representative Lohner?
Does the Constitution make any reference to how those should be submitted, paper or electronic?
No, it doesn't specify. You can email them to me in Word document, PDF. You can write them. Eventually, they're going to be printed out and put into this binder. So you can print them out yourself, or you can email them to me, and I will print them out, whichever one works.
Representative Karasek?
Just curious, number 6, was that left on for before? Because there's no thing.
Yes, actually, probably why I left that on there is because, I definitely left it on last time, but I'm not going to be here for next week's work session. We had a not next week, but the week following spring break, we had a conference in San Antonio from Friday through Wednesday of that week. That is why there will be no steering on me here.
All right, any other questions, Representative Lohner?
On point 8, you mentioned the potential of moving money around.
Yes.
I think we spent it before, but I noticed on the spreadsheet it looks like the balance is going to $3,000 you mentioned. Why
is left are outgoing expenses, and what money wouldn't be. And there's a lot of money tucked away in various areas. Samantha can tell you she's probably spent a large budget. She plans on spending the remainder of her committee's balance, same with academic affairs, same with programming, which has the largest allocation of any committee. Obviously, there's a couple of big events coming up. So the $3,000 was kind of what we could squeeze out of the committees, and that's not including, to my knowledge, some money still remaining in exec board, but there are some ongoing projects that Gavin talked about as well. So the balance is quite large because we're in the process of spending that money on events that have been planned for a couple months now. That's the best answer I can give. And you can read the minutes if you want, steering committee minutes if you want to find out exactly where we discuss that money is coming from. I gave a rough estimate here.
Any other questions for steering? All right, moving on, internal development, Representative Karasik, Chairman Karasik.
I hope you'll forgive me for not having a report this evening. Sick and it's a busy week, as I'm sure everybody feels with midterms and things like that. Thank you for approving Ms. Lerman this evening, and welcome to you. The committee, in addition to that, is reviewing a policy, a budgetary requirements policy that will be discussed after break. The members have also been assigned the duty of reviewing the Constitution and bylaws, as I keep alluding to, over break, so that we can come back with full edits and amendments. I also received a report as requested, that I requested from Elections Commissioner Goodstein. Over 50 registration packets have been signed out. They hope to break 60. They're due March 6th at 5 in order to be on the ballot. If they're not in the office at 5 o'clock, they will not be on the ballot. Tomorrow night at the 302 Hub at 8 p.m. there is a mandatory candidate certification session in this room. If you are on the Academic Affairs Committee, go to the Academic Affairs Committee meeting, and one of the commissioners will be coming down there to certify those members. There's a Facebook event, and vote.tsu.edu is the webpage for UPUA's elections. If you have any questions, I can take questions on behalf of him or my reporters.
Any questions? Okay, moving on to academic affairs. Is that next? Programming, Chairman King.
You don't have a report from me either. We decided to go green, so I'll be emailing everyone. Pretty much last week, we did what a lot of people thought was impossible and submitted the budget for Wally-Palooza to UPAT. Thanks to a lot of work from Mike and some other committee members. There's still some work to be done before the budget is approved. We'll be looking for corporate sponsorship, and we're going to need as much money as we can. So thanks for looking over your budgets.
Any questions for programming? Okay, thank you. Facilities, Chairman Nance.
There are a couple things I want to talk about. Because of, as our liaison explains, how the election was with their internal elections, one of the things we had to postpone the next task force meeting for me, but we will be going to meet those up next week sometime. Also, I'm still in the process of transferring some of the duties I was taking care of with the traffic court over to our friends with the Board of Arbitration. We've set a concrete date to do that officially on March 16th. That's going to happen. Also, I need to update on what happened at the facilities board. I know Gavin was doing a good job of touching on some of the main points. Just some of the other logistical things I think we're still trying to work out is kind of the whole role of what we want the subcommittee to do. There are some things that are talked about in these meetings, including specific dollar amounts for certain initiatives and projects and studies, and some other things that are kind of of a sensitive nature, and that is why what we might want to do is kind of talk about those things and have more like a private, small subcommittee type of meeting setting, and have meetings such as today, more of a public forum, open to the public, everyone can come and listen and share ideas and listen to what the board has to say. Also, something that I think we need to take care of as teacher is a knowledge of kind of how much money is in the pot, so to speak, for the facilities fee, and how much money exactly we have to work with. Also, went to the latest Space Allocation Committee meeting. Primary objective there is to try to secure some separate space to our friends at UWA Legal Affairs. That's still an ongoing process. Also, we still want to meet with Mary and my committee, that is, to kind of formally make our opinions known on the alumni chairs, see what we can do to help out. So that's all I have.
Representative Harrison?
Actually, I was asked to take care of this, but I think it would be more facilities. While you're meeting with Mary, if you wouldn't mind inquiring as to our name being on the elevator, that we would very much appreciate seeing that we are the official representative body of our students here.
UWA.
So yeah, just kind of focus.
Any questions for Chairman Mance? Mr. Bell?
Can you just elaborate, are you finding the facility board meetings as a whole should be closed to the public?
No, what I'm saying, I personally think that it would be best, and obviously we'll work out details on this. We did mention that piece of legislation we passed back in September, October. We want to make the meetings that we went to today with the 5 undergrads, 2 graduates, Gavin Varsity, good GSA presidents, and 5 ministers, those meetings to be of a more public nature, where things that are of a sensitive nature, such as specific dollar amounts or certain projects, will not be discussed as extensively, and have subcommittee meetings where we are able to kind of hash out details of projects and what exactly should get more funds and what exactly the fee should go towards. Does that answer your question?
Point of order, we are expired on time. Motion to extend time for committee reports by 5 minutes.
Any objections to that? Okay. Extended. You done? Any other questions? Facilities? Nope. Thank you. All right. Academic Affairs, Chairman Smith.
Sorry I didn't go great. I turned in a report. Better. We had seconds last week, and with the committee members that I have on that, we create a consultative report sent back to them before our time runs out the next work session. But I feel like there's a lot of ground that we need to cover, and that we've only just now become familiar enough with the process that we can really weigh in on where Saxon is going. But besides that, our meeting with the registrar was very productive last week. Myself and Amy Sanders went, and I really think that, especially because CCSG has said they would support it, that the crafting of a Shield Resources Advisory Board will be something that I'll probably have to submit a resolution or a policy regarding our bylaws, but they also student aid, the bursar, and registrar are all over there, and for the longest time, students haven't had any input over in Shields building, except on informal committees. And Karen Schultz, registrar, is really behind it, and she has a meeting on March 12th where she's going to try and sell this to the other directors, and I think that this is going to work out going forward. And as far as from the additional developments, I just want to point out, for anybody that's looking ahead for next year, I've pretty much closed business on conference stuff. The table's reserved, it's approved, the event's approved. I do need to do inventory in the closet, and I'm still not on the closet key list, so I'm not going to do that quite yet. But I just need to finish up purchase orders, and then whoever the next academic affairs chair is, you don't have to worry about that at all. And just today I was appointed to a working group to look at the FIT capital student next year, so I'll have a report on that in the next couple of weeks.
All right. Any questions regarding academic affairs? Okay, thank you. Governmental Affairs, Chairman Miller.
We'll start with a really awkward formatting in terms of board. First of all, thank you so much to everyone who came out to the event today and worked it and supported it. The committee really appreciated it, and we really think that this was very, very successful, and we're very pleased with the way it went. We did gather 706 signatures for a petition to the governor that we dropped off for Raleigh and Rotunda. There were far more than 1,000 people that we at least reached with flyering and things like that. The 4 speakers, they were great on the steps. So thanks to everyone, and special thanks to Mayor for helping us get the amplification set up. That will make really appreciate that. I also just want to recognize the members of my committee because this would not have happened without them, and they have been incredible in the past few weeks of putting together. So Mike Smith, Tony Smith, Dustin Dove, and Dan Marsh have been instrumental in this, and I really want to thank them. A packet that should be going around is a sign up for Raleigh and Rotunda. It's on March 18th. The rally itself is from 2 to 3, so my main concern is to be there for 2 to 3. I'm currently working out the best time to leave. Governmental Affairs can use their budget to sponsor a bus, so we're trying to fill it with 44 people to make it hold. We don't have to leave the crack of dawn if people don't want to do that. We'll probably need to leave pretty shortly after 3 because it's that night that people are probably going to get back for. So if you're interested in going and you have an input on timing, I don't need to confirm that right away. So just definitely let me know about that. And again, the bus is free of cost, so please, this has been a traditional event that we have helped CCHD out with in the past, and they helped us out today at our event. So the more DP support we have there, the better.
Questions, Representative Karasik.
Is CCSG central staff going on this bus, or are they providing a separate bus?
In the past, they've taken their own cars because they don't know if we have our schedule. So from what I heard, that's going to happen again. I guess unless it's a straggler who really provide.
Other questions? Representative Malloy.
Are you going to be working on kind of what I talked about, the full streamlining thing? I'm sure everyone else will too, but is this going to happen? I think you work towards it.
Yeah, I mean, from our end, we definitely can. And we presented the timeline of what we were looking at with the legislation that passed, I guess it was 2 weeks ago now. But we can continue to open up lines of communication.
Okay.
Point of order, time is expired again, motion 3 minutes, added to time.
Any objections? 3 minutes. All right. Any last questions to the Governmental Affairs? Okay. Diversity in Campus Life, 3 minutes.
Alright. I should have objected, oh well. Alright. I first of all wanted to thank Chris Knock and Christian Ragland. They helped put on the Diversity Roundtable event we had this weekend. I think we had a really productive, active discussion. It was really nice to see leaders from different organizations come together and speak with UPOA representatives, talk about what the committee can provide, how they would like to see the student government interact with them. I think it's going to be a really healthy relationship. We got pressed in the collegian, and we'd like to do another event this semester if Representatives Knock and Ragland are up for it. I think we are. So today, at our committee meeting on Tuesday, we discussed, kind of debriefed about the roundtable discussion, where we'd like to see that go in the future. We'd like to make that a more regular thing for the next assembly. It's going to be one of our recommendations to the next set of representatives in our committee. We're currently working on a set of recommendations to the next committee members, a set of recommendations to the Internal Development Committee as well, as per the bylaws and Constitution, where we feel like the committee has gone this year, where we'd like to see go in the future, and recognize ongoing projects. We are going to be working on those official recommendations and submit them recently.
Okay, questions, Representative Karasik.
Steve, I know you've been meaning to do it, but can you please send us that reminder email of what needs to be in our legislative quarterly to the chairs, what needs to be in the legislative quarterly again?
Yes.
What's semesterly, I'm sorry.
So to fill everyone else in, the committee chairs have been asked by myself to submit a summary of their activity in the fall semester so that we can get the legislative semester out, and I will send an email to the professor.
Okay. Mr. Gravella?
myself and Gavin were emailed by Jen, who works in the office of former office of student engagement, student activities, I believe it's called, regarding the student group conduct, not student group registration procedures or conduct code. I'm butchering the name of the thing. Anyhow, you know what I'm talking about, because I talked to you about it. She wanted us to look over it because the both UPA representatives couldn't make it to the last meeting or had stepped down from the committee. Is your committee still going to do that in its final meeting to look over this and submit recommendations?
We spoke about this issue a while ago. There weren't, I mean, you can ask my committee members, there weren't a lot of formal recommendations. I think the threshold was the biggest issue that we looked at, the number of members that had to be in the group. That was probably the biggest objection. But there was nothing that they really felt as a group.
All right, that's all the time we have. Thank you very much. Moving on, item 12, comments for the good of the order.
Yes, well, you at least have one, I think Mr. Wallace said he'd do it as well. The best dress this evening, of course, Mr. Szymanski. If I didn't give it to him, I think we'd have some Nathan anger on our hands. Other than that, Ms. Russell, you getting it? I'm sorry.
I don't do it.
I'm sorry. Well, that's too bad. If those two people would, I don't have candy with me, but I'll give you some money, or I'll take you down to Chats and get you something after the meeting, so you can enjoy that cookie. And that's really all I have.
Representative Szymanski.
For all those who are currently running the UQA election, may have finished filling out their forms that are coming today. I'm going to be opening up the office after the meeting, so you can hand in your stuff now. Another thing is about this mask. For those of you who probably didn't hear my story, I was nearly arrested for wearing this for disorderly conduct. So kind of weird. So I'm officially retiring the mask tonight. So
why were you wearing it?
Funny. Okay. So anyway, say goodbye to Mr. Nixon, and it's just been a blast running this past season.
Representative Warner.
On a little more of a serious note, this is our last meeting for, I guess, 2 weeks off. We have 2 weeks off. The second week off is because there's a Senate meeting, work session for you guys. All the senators in the room, you're obligated to attend both the University Park Caucus, which we're going to be working out, I think, the timing for that since it's the Sunday after spring break. And you're definitely obligated to attend the Student Caucus, which is Tuesday at 11, along with your committee and the senators and stuff.
Other comments? Representative Wallace.
I would just like everybody to keep Wallapalooza in their prayers, because we still have to hear about funding from UPAC, so keep your fingers crossed for what we do. You kind of mentioned get shot at
Other comments? Okay, if there are no other comments. Moving on to closing roll call, Secretary.
Mike Holdinger. Mike Anderson. Gretchen Braun. Justin Mick. Christina Hall. Ruth Kennedy-Rajah. Chris Caswell. Gina Chen. Mark Cannon. Rob Cabello. Dustin Dove. Robin Engel. Adam Barone. Pat Gordon. Nicholas Heim. Hubert Heim. Andrew Kerstead. Gavin Kieran. John King. Daniel Lurch. Sam Lohner. Benjamin Lombard. Stephen Lucas. Nick Mance. Haley McClernon. Kayla McPherson. Sean Malloy. Samantha Miller. Christopher Burrell. Jose Munn. Christopher Knopf. Ellie Okelburn. Joanne Olson. Here. Bree Patay. Greg Plum. Bryant Poland. Kelly Potter. Here. Megan Quinn. Christian Ragland. Valerie Russell. Present. Amy Sanders. Philip Slusser. Richard Tremansky.
Here.
Catherine Smeals. Here. Colleen Smith. Here. Matthew Smith.
Here.
Michael Smith.
Here.
Ricardo Torres. Ian Vickery. Michael Wallace. Cindy Wong. Here. Max Winco.
Here.
Justin Weiner.
Here.
Kara Singer. Here. Nicole Zinn.
All right, this meeting is adjourned.